Good morning, students. Today we'll discuss some other terms used in the ecology. First term is food chain. The food chain, it refers to the order of events in an ecosystem where any living organism eats another organism and later the organism is consumed by another larger organism. So the flow of nutrients and energy from one organism to another at different trophic level, it forms the food chain. So food chain also explains the feeding pattern and relationship between the living organism. Next term is the trophic level. Trophic level, it refers to the sequence. It is the sequential stages in the food chain, starting with the producers at the bottom, followed by the primary, secondary, and the tertiary consumer. So every level in the food chain is known as the trophic level. Next term is the detritus food chain. The detritus food chain, it includes different species of organism and plants like algae, bacteria, fungi, protozoans, mites, insect, woodworms, and so on. The detritus food chain begins with the dead organic matter. The food energy passes into the decomposers and detrivores, where it is further eaten by smaller organisms like the small carnivores. The carnivores like maggots, they become meal for the bigger carnivores like frog, snake, etc. and so on. So the primary consumers, they are the fungi, protozoans, bacteria, etc., which are the detrivores. Next term is the grazing food chain. Grazing food chain is a type of food chain that starts with green plants, passes through herbivores and then the carnivores. In the grazing food chain, energy is the lowest trophic level is acquired from the photosynthesis. So the plants, they acquire the energy through photosynthesis. They are consumed by the herbivores and then the herbivores, they are consumed by the carnivores. Next term is the food web. Several interconnected food chain forms the food web. Food web is similar to food chain, but food web is comparatively larger than the food chain. Occasionally, a single organism is consumed by many predators and it consumes several other organisms. Due to this, many trophic levels get interconnected, so the food chain fails to showcase the flow of energy in the right way. But the food web is able to show the proper representation of energy flow as it displays the interaction between the different organisms. So more realistic is the food web. Coming to the functions of the ecosystem. An ecosystem, it consists of all the organism and the physical environment with which they interact. The biotic and abiotic components are linked together through nutrient cycle and the energy flow. The function of the ecosystem, they are, it regulates the essential ecological processes, supports life system and renders the stability. It is also responsible for the cycling of nutrients between the biotic and abiotic component. It maintains a balance among the various trophic level in the ecosystem. It cycles the minerals through the biosphere. The abiotic components help in the synthesis of organic components that involves the exchange of energy. Coming to the structure of the ecosystem. The ecosystem, as I've told you, it is formed by two components, abiotic component and biotic component. The abiotic component is formed by the climatic factor and the edaphic factor. Edaphic factor means the soil factor and climatic factor means the temperature, light, wind, moisture, humidity, topography. And the biotic components, they are the producers, consumers and the carnivores. The pyramid of number. Now, ecological pyramid basically is of three types: pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, and pyramid of energy. So, pyramid of number, it represents the total number of individuals of different species in every trophic level. Depending upon the size, the pyramid of number may be of three types, that is, upright in the case of the grassland, inverted in the case of the aquatic ecosystem, spindle shaped in the case of the parasites. Pyramid of biomass. Pyramid of biomass, it determines the collection of all the individuals occupying each trophic level by measuring their dry weight. The pyramid of biomass is of only two types, that is the upright and inverted. Upright is present in the terrestrial ecosystem, whereas the inverted pyramid of biomass is shown by the aquatic ecosystem. Pyramid of energy. It is the most realistic pyramid. Here the energy is measured, and always we know that the energy flow is unidirectional. From the sun, the energy enters into the plants. From the plants, it goes to the consumers. So, the maximum energy is shown by the producers, and then as we move towards the top carnivores, the level of energy, it goes down, it decreases. So as a result of which, this is most realistic and it is always upright, and it follows 10% law. That is, at every trophic level, only 10% of the energy is saved. Rest energy is dissipated as heat, or it is used during the metabolic processes. Coming to the ecological efficiency. Ecological efficiency, it describes the efficiency with which the energy is transferred from one trophic level to the another trophic level. The number of trophic level in the grazing food chain is restricted, as the transfer of energy, it follows the 10% law. The 10% of the energy is transferred to the other trophic level. Rest 90% is wasted. So decrease at each substantial trophic level is due to two reasons. As each trophic level, there is part of the available energy is lost in respiration and part is used in the metabolism. Next term is bioaccumulation. Bioaccumulation is the gradual accumulation of pollutants, chemicals in the organism. Bioaccumulation occurs when the rate of loss of the substance from the body of the organism through catabolism or excretion is lower than the rate of accumulation of the substance. The persistent organic pollutant like DDT are long lasting, and the risk of bioaccumulation is high ever in the environmental levels of the pollutants. So bioaccumulation is in the same organism. With the time, there is increase in the level of the pollutant. Next term is the biomagnification. Biomagnification, it refers to the progressive bioaccumulation at each trophic level with the passage of time. The order for biomagnification to occur, the pollutant must have a long biological half-life. It must not be soluble in the water, but must be soluble in the fat. For example, the DDT. If the pollutant is stable in water, it will be excreted by the organism. So the pollutants that are dissolved in the fats, that show maximum biomagnification. So the pollutant that dissolves in the fat are retained inside the organism for longer time. Hence, it is tradition to increase the amount of pollutants in the fatty tissue of the organism, such as fish. The mammal milk produced by the female is tested for pollutant since the milk has a lot of fat in it. So in this biomagnification, we can see the ppm of the DDT, it keeps on increasing from the producers to the top carnivores. So this is biomagnification, whereas in the case of bioaccumulation, the pollutants in the same species with the time, it increases. Next terminology is the importance of the ecological pyramid. The importance of ecological pyramid can be explained by the following points. It shows the feeding of the different organism in the different ecosystem. It shows the efficiency of the energy transfer. The condition of the ecosystem can be monitored and further damage can be prevented by studying the ecological pyramid. Coming to the limitations of the ecological pyramid, more than one species may occupy the same trophic level in case of the food web. Thus, the system does not take into the account in the case of the food web. The saprophytes, they are not considered in any of the pyramids, even though they form an important part in the various ecosystem. The pyramids, they are applicable only to the simple food chain, which usually does not occur naturally. The pyramid does not deliver any concept in relation to various variations in the season and in the climate. Then they do not consider the possibility of the existence of same species at different trophic level. So ecological pyramid is applicable to the simple food chain and it is not applicable to the food web. And when one individual can have more than one preferences, then the ecological pyramid is not much suited. For example, in the life cycle of a frog, we have the tadpole, we have the adult. The adult is carnivorous, tadpole is herbivorous. So in the case of ecological pyramid, where to place the individual, whether in the case of the herbivores or in the case of the carnivores. So it becomes very difficult. So in this, these are the few terms which are used in the ecology. I hope the concept is clear. Thank you.